Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. What time is that? It's time to cruise with the case handler. And of course, I'm cruising with case handlers, meaning I'm cruising with some great attorneys at a firm known as Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico, a very proud firm for a proud people. And we're here today. And guess what? We got a special show. The show is exclusively on immigration. Seems like the boss man over at the firm is in his office today. Very rare view of him there. But ladies and gentlemen, before I introduce the panel here today with two wonderful ladies on the panel, also along with myself and Conrad Pollack, I would like to remind each and every one that this is Cruising with a Case Handler, a show on personal injury and immigration. Today, as noted, we're focusing on immigration exclusively. I do believe that we have a lot to speak about. All right, a whole lot to speak about today as to where this country is going, as to where the current administration is, and as to where the potential, well, let me rephrase that, as to where the new administration coming in November will be at and what they will be doing where immigration is concerned. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I implore you, if you're actually listening on 93.5 WVIP FM, so please turn up your radios, call some folks up, text them, let them know that I've got three attorneys here ready, willing, and able to speak on immigration in depth. All right. And of course, they can also get free phone consultations at 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. If you're on Facebook, I ask you please to share on all the pages. My page, David Squeeze Annakie, the firm's page, PPID, that's Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico. Adam's page, the case handler. So please do that for us. It's very important that you share. We like having a lot of views. So this way we know that people are actually getting help. So go to the page, go to the lower part of it, click share on it, share in all the groups that you're a part of, share in all your friends' timelines, and also share in pages that you manage. Once again, today's show is on immigration. Bring your immigration questions. Join the WhatsApp group. And also call us now for a free phone consultation with an attorney at 844-774-3529. Let me introduce the ladies. Conrad, stand by. Got to do that. All right. I've got Alexandra, Boss Lady Bondakov. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Very well. Thank you, Squeeze. And you?
I am wonderful. Thanks for being here again. I've got Andrea Scher. We call her Shira. Okay. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you, Squeeze. How are you?
I am wonderful. And those are two ladies that are attorneys at the firm, ladies and gentlemen, and a very down-to-earth, very personable individual. I've spoken with both of them off the air, and they're wonderful human beings, all right? And Mr. Conrad Pollack, the man that's responsible for hiring these ladies here, all right? So we're in good present, Mr. Pollack. How are you doing today?
Okay. Sitting in my office. In fact, I think this is the first time that I'm doing the show from my desk in my office from the control post, right?
Control tower.
The control tower, yes.
Yeah.
All good. And I'm happy to have two of our favorite associates from the firm with us, and they have a lot to talk about as well. So I'm going to keep my comments brief and let the ladies take charge.
What I love about these ladies, Conrad, is the fact that they've actually spoken with a lot of people who have been listening to us and are listening to us right now on 93.5 FM. And the feedback that I get, and I have never told them this, the feedback that I get from the people in the streets, they love them. They thought that they were going to be square. You know, everybody look at attorneys as being square, suit and tie, all suited up and everything. And they said, Squeeze, they spoke to me like, you know, they're normal people. I'm like, they are normal people, you know, and you know it's great to have them on board. Also, the other thing that I appreciate is that they're of an immigrant background, so they do understand how to speak with immigrants, how to help immigrants. They themselves have gone through the immigration and the immigrant procedure here in the United States. So I congratulate you for hiring such great individuals to help out the Caribbean community and beyond.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I think in our immigration department, I think I'm the only one that's not an immigrant.
Wow, really?
I think so. I mean, is there anybody? Me and the general, Alan Kay. We're the
The
only
general,
two
yeah.
people in our department that are not immigrants. Everybody else,
He's an immigrant also, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
very, very much so.
Wow,
And
that's
everybody
great.
from somewhere else, except, I'm the only one from Brooklyn,
There you go.
everybody else is from somewhere else. So, yeah, that didn't even occur to me that every single person working here is an immigrant. It's the truth.
People like to speak with people who can relate to them, and you have done an excellent job where that is concerned. And what also I love your honesty, the fact that you never even thought about it, and here it is. It happened naturally. So that is great.
Well, there's definitely something to be said for having that background, understand, because and again, I don't want to steal the lady's
Right,
thunder.
right. We're going to turn it over to the boss.
They understand what immigrants go through. What they understand the processes that people have to go through. And in fact, I think Andrea, didn't you just get your green card like last week? No, but seriously, they have been through the process not that long ago, and they understand, and they certainly remember and know what it's like. So yeah, and I think when you're dealing with the immigrant community, and and I've said it before, you're dealing with people going for the green cards or whatever, or their family's green cards. This is the most important thing in their lives. This is a huge responsibility that we have as lawyers and as paralegals and as staff members at the firm. This is the most important thing to most of these people that they have going. Without these green cards, they can't stay here. They can't live their lives. They can't reach for that the goal, whatever goals they've set for themselves. So it's a serious responsibility, and people that and the people that we have working here have been through that themselves, so they understand. They bring an innate understanding of the situation, and I think most of our clients, being immigrants, appreciate that. I think it says a lot about our staff. It says a lot about what we do for people, and I think people appreciate that.
Absolutely. Folks, that's Conrad Pollack, is the managing partner at the firm, a practicing attorney who's all about helping people in multiple areas of law. He heads up the immigration department, and it's good to have him also, of course, on the show today. A show about immigration. Now, I'm turning it over to the boss lady, but before we do that, and then Andrea, but before we do that, I want to remind you, every single person that's actually listening to us right now, dial this number and get yourself a free phone consultation with one of the attorneys off the air. The number is 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. And Conrad, remind me to ask you about Biden later on in reference to something specific. But let's turn it over to.
We're going to be talking a lot about his immigration platform. And in fact, now, as everyone is probably aware, he picked Kamala Harris as his running mate yesterday. Great choice, safe choice, but I think it's a great choice. She is very pro-immigrant, being, one of her parents is a Jamaican immigrant.
The odd is them.
So, I think that's a really great pick. And hey, when he gets elected, when they're elected, I think it just couldn't be better news for the immigrant community when it happens. So again, we tell people all the time, you're a U.S. citizen, go out and vote. Doesn't matter where you are, make sure you vote in the election and just vote Democrat. Right? Everybody here, everyone listening to the show is going to benefit if they do.
Absolutely. That's Conrad Pollack. Okay, let's get to the ladies. Okay, Alexandra Boss Lady Bondakov. That's what I call her. And she's all about helping you. Once again, call now the firm. Okay, PPID. The number is 844-774-3529, 844-PPID LAW. And remember, also place your questions on Facebook. Place your questions in the WhatsApp group. We're getting to those questions shortly. But let's hear what the boss lady has for us. Any immigration news update, anything you would like to share with everyone that's listening? You got a potential 4 million people that tune in every week, Alexandra. So as an attorney and in reference to immigration, anything you'd like to share today?
Well, I just think it's very appropriate to follow up your intro with what the new administration will do come January. And Biden has always been a known quantity as far as his immigration platform is. After all, as a part of the Obama-Biden administration, he did promote some policies that are very good. Immediately, though, his priority will be to basically undo what this administration has done for the past 4 years. And when I was preparing for this program, I realized that there were so many things that just happened one after another, and we sort of were running from one fire to extinguish one fire to another. We kind of forgot what happened in the beginning. So basically, within the first 100 days of his administration, Biden will walk back the infamous public charge rule. He will rescind the Muslim bans, which many of your listeners probably don't even realize are still in existence, but there are. We will not hear about a border wall. People would not be forced to wait in the streets of Tijuana waiting for a number to come and make an asylum claim in the United States. So remain in Mexico will be gone. He will also restore a program from the Obama administration, which prioritized enforcement. So basically, Obama came up with 3 separate categories of immigrant violators. And he said, we don't really care about somebody who is here and working illegally. We're going to concentrate on criminals. And by the way, we used to call Obama the reporter in chief because that program worked, but it kept families together. He will.
Alexandra, Alex, if I could just jump in on that point to just stress how important that is. You know, and we've touched on this on previous shows. The Obama administration recognized that the Immigration Service, ICE, CBP, they have limited resources, just like any government agency. They have limited resources, limited amount of money, limited amount of personnel. So they made an informed decision to say, hey, we have a limited set of manpower, limited resources. Let's direct them where they can be most effective and where they can produce the best, most desirable result. So what they decided was to go after criminals. If they're going to deport people, they're going to go after those hardcore gang members. They're going to go after the serious criminals that are a danger to society, and rightfully so. All right, nobody here is defending people like that having to remain in the United States. Look, we're lawyers. We defend, you know, who the clients that hire us because we have an obligation to do so. But speaking just as a citizen, I mean, nobody wants dangerous criminals or gang members to remain in the United States. I mean, that goes without saying. And the Obama administration recognized that. And again, they directed their limited resources at removing those dangers to society. Now, come Trump, 2016, and Stephen Miller, his immigration guru, and at the time Jeff Sessions, which is where Miller trained under Jeff Sessions when he was in the Senate in Alabama, they said, you know what? We don't care about that anymore. We're just going to deport everybody. We don't care if you're a gang member. We don't care if you're a dishwasher at the greasy spoon down the hall or down the block. Right? They said, if you're here illegally, even though they didn't advertise it as such, they said, yeah, we're just going after the bad guys. But of course, that's total nonsense, total BS. Basically, they said, we're going to go after everybody. And that's what they've been doing. That's why you've heard over the past couple of years, every so often, about these raids in the middle of the night in these immigrant communities and wherever in the country, scaring the Jesus out of people. Right? This is what they get off on. Right? This is the difference between the Obama administration, which had a targeted, focused directive to get people that they should go after to get them removed from the United States.
Get bad people out.
Plus a Trump going after everybody and just terrorizing immigrant communities. That is going to change. If Biden comes in, Kamala Harris comes in, they're going to go back to targeting their resources in the direction where they should go, which is a great thing. That's probably, to me, the most important aspect of the immigration policy that's going to change. Right? Obama changed it when he came in because it wasn't like that prior to Obama. If it goes back in that direction, that is the most effective, the thing that most people will notice throughout. So that's really important.
Right. What are your thoughts, Andrea? You're quiet.
Just listening. I agree. I think the way the Obama administration was handling it and prioritizing the worst of the worst, I guess, was better than what's happening now, where you have a father of 3 getting deported or being arrested for no reason and just being sent back and separated from his family. So I think it's important to prioritize who is the most deportable, I guess, and who is not.
Here's how I look at it, Conrad.
You know, in a situation like that, Andrea, you know, nobody talks about the children, the family, U.S. citizens that they leave behind. You know, father gets picked up because he's illegally here for the last 10 years, working, I don't know, in construction. They pick him up at a construction site, you know, because he doesn't have his green card, or maybe he gets pulled over because there's a broken taillight, you know, somewhere in Westchester County. They turn him over to ICE, he gets arrested, and he gets deported. What happens to his wife and his kids? They're U.S. citizens, and now the chief provider of support is gone. What happens to that person? Who takes care of that person? Guess who? That becomes part of, they go on, they're the ones that go on public benefits, welfare or food stamps or whatever. So it is so self-defeating to remove a person like that. It makes absolutely no sense. None. Again, if the guy is in a gang, you know, and he was
he's a bad guy, then by all means.
That's a different story. That's not what we're talking about. And that's also the minority of the people that they're removing. In fact, if anybody's been watching the documentary Nation, they themselves say maybe 30% of the people that they're removing are criminals. The rest of them are just here illegally. They're not criminals. They're hardworking people that have come here to make a better life for themselves, and they're not looking for handouts. They're working.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, if you're just joining us, this is Cruising with a Case Handler. Getting to the questions shortly. I have three attorneys here. You just heard the voice, okay, AKA Conrad Pollack, AKA the Maestro. You heard from Alexandra Bondakov and Andrea, okay, also attorneys here with me on the panel. They have a lot to share with you today, and we'll be getting back to them on speaking about what's happening here. But here, I want to ask each of you personally, before we get to the questions or expand more on Biden's, you know, plan, okay? Let me give out the number, 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. Folks, hands down, you don't need to go anywhere else for attorneys. Just call the law firm. It's PPID, Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico, 844-774-3529. Personal injury, immigration, real estate, criminal defense, you make it them, 844-PPID law. But I want to ask each of you something. What do you all personally think about Kamala Harris for vice president?
All right, I'll go first. As a woman, an immigrant, and a lawyer, I like her. I wouldn't mind calling her Madam President.
Okay, all right. Well put, Sheep Tech. Alexandra Boss Lady jumped at it. Andrea, your take.
I also like her. I was actually talking about it yesterday with my brother, and she is so politically correct. I mean, she's a woman, she is a minority, she is half Asian, and she has Jamaican background as well. She's so smart. She is a complete badass, excuse my language, but yeah, I think she's great. I like her.
She's a badass.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah.
All right, okay. And Conrad, be honest. We know you are always very blunt.
I already said, I think she was a safe choice, but the right choice. I mean, there were a lot of good candidates that Biden had to choose from. And there were 3 or 4 that I was thinking that he couldn't have gone wrong with any one of them. But Harris.
Was one of them Susan Rice?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. And mark my words, they get in, Secretary of State. Okay, you heard it here first.
Okay.
She gets in, if Biden gets elected, she's going to be Secretary of State, and that would be a great choice, I think. She knows her stuff. Foreign affairs is Biden's thing. And he worked with Susan Rice in the Obama administration. You know, I wasn't a fan of a lot of things that Obama did in foreign policy. I think a Biden-Harris administration will be a really welcome change from what we've been seeing for the last 3.5 years, that's for sure. But I think Harris is a good choice, and I think she'll be great for the immigrant community. She's tough. You know, I mean, I'm looking forward to her debate against Pence. She will wipe the floor with that stiff.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Right. She, well, your friend, that guy that you talk to every day, the orange man, and you talk about him, yeah. He called Kamala nasty.
Yeah.
That's
that's his favorite word to use for women. Come on.
This guy is ridiculous. I mean, How does he get away with saying these things? Oh my God. Anyway, once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Cruising with the Case Handler, a special edition, of course, strictly immigration today. And we're just talking in general about what's happening in the administration. It's current affairs. It's not something that we could circumvent or go around. These two individuals will impact immigration positively, I believe, in the near future. So do remember, as we appeal to you, go out there and vote. Vote, 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 vote. And I'm saying it, vote for Biden and come out, okay? That's it. That's the ticket. That's it. As simple as that. I don't care what anyone else is saying. That's whom I'm endorsing. So please work with me here, all right? Let me get in a question before we expand and before we get to the top of the hour. Someone wants to know, what is the best ways to get a refugee plus asylum visa? The family will be with them. I am outside the US.
For a refugee under the Trump administration, it's going to be extremely tough. Trump has done a lot to restrict the intake of refugees. I think we used to accept something like 100,000 refugees each year during the Obama years. It went down to 18,000 under Trump, and that's one of the areas that Biden is definitely going to expand. So right now, you know, what I'm going to say is wait until January 20th.
Stay under the radar, sit still, and keep watching this show and keep listening to the show, Cruising with the Case Handler, brought to you by the law firm Pollack, Isaac, and Seco. The number is, once again, 844-774-3529. That's 844-PPID-LAW. Please share on Facebook for us, guys. Here's another one. Can you apply for a K-1 visa while outside the United States? I am an American citizen. My fiance is English, and we both live in Australia. Wondering if we can apply in Australia and live here till she gets approved. Sounds familiar, Alex? I think I brought something like this to you a few weeks ago, but it was from the Jamaican end. Can you apply for a K-1 visa while outside the United States? I'm an American citizen. My fiance is English, and we both live in Australia. Wondering if we can apply in Australia and live here till she gets approved.
You can file the K-1 petition, yes.
But
They
have to, did they say fiance or is he married already? Are they already
K-1,
married?
I think.
They're thinking about it. He's an American citizen.
All right.
K-1, that's a fiance.
But what I would recommend in a situation like that is to get married and just file for the visa petition. To apply for a fiance visa, yes, they can do it. Number one, that's an answer to his question. They can certainly do it. But when you're applying for a fiance visa, that process could take a year to get that actual visa. So it takes a year. She gets her K-1 visa. They come to the United States. They have to get married within 90 days.
They live in Australia. The question is saying, can they stay in Australia?
Until she gets the visa, certainly. But
the whole idea is she's getting the K-1 because she wants to come to the United States, I'm assuming.
Right.
So again, they apply. They stay in Australia. It takes a year to get that visa. They come to the United States, get married, and then they have to apply for the green card, right? That doesn't make sense, especially in this circumstance. Since
for expediency purposes, right?
What they do is get married, and they should apply for the green card. Submit the visa petition for the green card. That takes a year also. So when they do eventually come, she'll already have her green card. She won't have to engage in the second process.
Got you.
So to do a K-1 in that situation makes no sense whatsoever. They just get married, apply for the green card.
In other words, walk through the door and stop trying to climb over the fence. All right. Once again, that's the reason why we have the firm, ladies and gentlemen. Reach out to them now. The number to call, one of the attorneys, and get your free phone consultation. And yes, hire them afterwards. 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. Here's another one. Hello all, I need some help. My USCIS approval for fiancé visa is about to expire in 2 days. I emailed the embassy in which my fiancé is in, and they said not to worry. Is it okay if it expires? Once case is received, you can still schedule an interview. My case is still with NBC until my embassy opens and ask the NBC for new cases. What do you think will happen with this ban that's in place? And I read that verbatim.
Okay, I guess me again. Generally speaking, the consulate has the authority to extend the approval of a K-1 visa petition for another 4 months. Now, I mean, which country is it? I missed that.
I didn't say.
It doesn't say the country.
Right.
So basically, what needs to happen here is this person needs to be contacting the consulate directly.
Okay, beautiful. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Cruising with a Case Handler. I'm going to take one more question before we go back to speaking more, Conrad, Andrea, and Alexandra, about Biden's plan. All right, I do believe Conrad wants to really expound on that. Question here says, we applied for my GC in July 2019, sponsored by my work. Last year in December, I had my interview sent that I was done and approved, but then COVID happened. My E1 visa already expired. I was approved again for my work and travel card, valid till 7/2022, which makes me believe it will take some time. My mom in Germany passed away, and I need to go to Germany to get a couple of things taken care of. Will this fall under essential travel? Can I return to the USA without problems?
Boy, there's so many things going on. I'll need a lot more information. First of all, if the green card has been approved, but I assume he doesn't have the green card in his hand, then how is he gonna travel? That's number one.
It said E1. I mean, it sounds like he has an E1 valid to
the green card, but the E1 is not a dual intent visa, so he cannot be traveling on it. So basically what I'm saying is, if he has an approved green card, he can't travel until and unless he gets proof that his permanent residence has been approved. So
it says here, it says I was approved again for my work and travel card, whatever that means.
Oh, so advanced parole. If that's the case, then he has an advanced parole document. He can certainly travel on that. He's going to Germany, though. He would fall under the Schengen area COVID ban. He may need an exception, and that he can contact the consulates. The consulates are now handling exemptions from the travel ban. So if he needs to travel, he needs to travel, but he's going to need an exemption.
Or if he goes to Germany, which is subject to the ban, he would have to he could possibly go to a third country that's outside the ban, stay there for 2 weeks, and then try to come back to the United States after that.
Yeah.
Okay. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the immigration link portion of Cruising with a Case Handler. We're going to the top of the hour on 93.5 FM. If you would like to continue actually watching us, hearing what it is that we have to discuss today on immigration, with the best immigration law firm in the nation. Speaking about Immigration Nation, got to watch it on Netflix. But that law firm happens to be Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico, phenomenal attorneys. Here's what you should do. Get a free phone consultation. Take them for a test drive, and then you buy the car. The number to call the attorneys to get that phone consultation, absolutely free off the air, is 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. Conrad, what other areas do the firm practice in? If you don't mind telling me that in 30 seconds.
You mean besides immigration and personal injury?
Yes.
We do litigation. We do real estate, transactional work, closings. If you're buying a house, we have a department that handles things like that. We have a gentleman here handling employment related issues, employment discrimination, things like that, workers' comp. We have a gentleman here who's been on the show before who handles criminal work. He's a former ADA, and he handles all kinds of criminal matters. What else? Have I missed anything? Malpractice. Yeah. We have medical malpractice attorneys here. We pretty much handle anything anything you want to throw at us, we pretty much handle. We have a guy who does wills and estates, divorces.
Yeah.
We've got it all pretty much covered.
Okay, beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Cruising with a Case Handler. Weekdays, 9:30 a.m. right here on 93.5 FM, Saturdays, Sundays, respectively, 7 p.m. and noon. The number to call the firm app right now, and every one of you will get a free phone consultation, but you got to call them within the next few minutes. It's 844-774-3529. That's 844-PPID-LAW, 844-PPID-LAW.
It's 10 o'clock.
And we continue on, of course, Facebook right here, ladies and gentlemen. We have more questions in a few, but let's continue speaking on the Biden plan. Conrad, I know you wanted to expound a whole lot more on that. And before we get back to Andrea and Alexandra, I want to hear your piece and what it is that you'd like to say about that.
It was actually Alex who wanted to talk about that. She was in the middle
Okay.
of talking about it before she got cut off by me.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Alex.
Go ahead, Alex.
Well, you know, Squeeze, we oftentimes say on this radio that we're practicing attorneys, and I have a consultation in 5 minutes. So I'm gonna try to be brief, but basically what Biden's long-term goals are to push some sort of a path to citizenship, reinstate and codify DACA, which Andrea will be speaking about shortly. He wants to increase the number of employment-based visas, and he wants to sort of ease the backlogs in the family side by classifying spouses and children of legal permanent residents as also immediate relatives. And you know, for those of you listening, immediate relative is basically right now a spouse, child, or a parent of an American citizen, and they don't have to wait for a visa; they're just available for them. Those would require legislative action, though, which means that he will likely need both houses. And as we know, immigration is a very thorny issue in best of circumstances, even when there is bipartisan support for these initiatives, such as the McCain candidate they couldn't push it. So, you know, I don't know. We'll have to see how this will play out. But DACA is something that is on the books, and I'll let Andrea talk about that.
Okay.
And, I'll sign off.
Yeah, I want to say thanks to you, Alexandra, boss lady, you know, for being here. I do appreciate it. I know you have to be timely. I don't want you to work on Jamaican time. All right. All right. So take care, and we'll speak soon. It's a pleasure having you.
Bye.
All right. And there goes Alexandra Boss Lady Alexandra Boss Lady Bondakov, and we're now here with Andrea and Conrad, and we're going to continue speaking on immigration. Do remember the firm's number is 844 PPID Law. That's 844-774-3529. Andrea, you have the floor. Let's talk DACA.
So DACA was originally created by the Obama-Biden administration, and it's meant to protect undocumented individuals that came to the country when they were children. Basically, if you're 4 or 5 years old and your parents cross a border with you, it's not your fault necessarily because you were a child and you had no control over that. So that's what the program is meant to protect, those kinds of individuals. As it stands, though, the program doesn't give you a path to citizenship. It doesn't give you a green card. It only gives you employment authorization and your Social Security. So you're able to work, go to school, but you won't necessarily have a permanent path to get a green card or a citizenship or your citizenship.
What if you got married to a citizen?
Well, it depends on how you entered too. Like if you entered with a visa and you marry a US citizen, you're an immediate relative, so you'd be able to adjust status in the country. If you entered through the border, you may need a waiver, or there's another way. If you travel on the DACA on advanced parole and came back in, you would have a legal entry and you would be able to adjust status as well. But they recently changed that. Basically, in 2017, Trump says he's going to terminate DACA, and then the program was being litigated in the courts, and eventually the Supreme Court said that what the Trump administration did was illegal and unconstitutional. So the program was basically back on. But in July of this year, USCIS issued a memorandum regarding DACA, and now basically they said that you can apply for DACA for the first time. So if you didn't have it before, you're not going to be able to apply now. The only thing you can do is renew it. So if you currently have it or have had it, you can renew it. But this memo that came out in July also limits the year that you get it. So if you apply for DACA now or renew it, instead of getting a work authorization card for 2 years, now you're only going to get it for 1 year. So that means you still have to renew it every 1 year and pay the fee. So it's a lot more expensive and a lot more troublesome for people. And they also limited the way to travel on advanced parole. I think they did this on purpose, obviously, because if you travel on advanced parole and come back, you have the legal entry and you can adjust status if you're married. Now, the only way you can travel on advanced parole is if you have like exceptional circumstances, and they're not really defining what that is. So it's very unclear what's going to happen with that. But the point is that if Biden gets elected, DACA will probably have a more permanent status. And one of his goals is to create that path to citizenship for all the dreamers, basically. So it's very important that we get him.
Absolutely. And that's the reason why we all need to go out and vote for Biden, people. All right, please go out and vote. Votes coming up. The number, ladies and gentlemen, once again, is 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. I'm speaking with Andrea and Conrad, attorneys at the firm Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico. Remember, get that free phone consultation and then hire them. Say, hey, you're not getting away. I'm hiring you. 844-774-3529. Conrad, got a question for you on Facebook here. It says, it's been 28 months with my F2A category for spouse visa. I was documentarily qualified finally on June 2020, but Trump's ban mean no progress again. When do you think we will get the interview letter?
First off, F2A, that means the person applying has a green card and he's applying for his wife. Now, a case like that typically takes a couple of years. And if not for this travel ban with the presidential proclamation that came down in April, he would probably have an appointment already. But they are subject to the travel ban. They are subject to that we call PP, presidential proclamation. So until that presidential proclamation is lifted, and currently it's scheduled to stay in effect until December 31st, 2020. Until that is lifted, he's not getting an interview. Now, again, if Biden gets elected, that ban will go away on January 20th. I promise you that Trump will extend that ban for as long as he possibly can. So if he's reelected, you're not going to be seeing your wife with a green card for probably another 4 or 5 years. So I would strongly, again, tell everybody to get out there and vote for Biden, vote Democrat, because those bans, again, they're supposed to expire at the end of the year. They're going to keep them going as long as they possibly can. I can promise you that.
Okay. All right. And 844 PPID law, call that number. Here's another question here. It says, what happens if your police clearance certificate got rejected at the NVC stage? My husband made his police certificate in January 2020. Now we have to upload on CEAC. Is it expired? Can we use it at NVC stage? I read it on the website that it's valid for 1 year, but still I am confused as during the time of my immigration, we made a new one at that time of the interview because everyone said it's only valid for 6 months. And once again, I'm reading it as it is.
All right, he hasn't had an interview yet. He's at the NVC stage, meaning that the NVC is part of the State Department. They do the preliminary documentation qualifications to get an interview. All right, so he's at the final stage almost of his case. The police certificate depends on where it's from. 6 months, a year. I mean, depends on where he's coming from, when he submitted it, what's the problem. I don't know what he means when he said it got denied. I mean, they might be asking for more documentation. The NVC often does that. But that's we need more details there. What I would do is contact the NVC and see specifically what they're looking for, and then you can contact them. You can communicate with them. They do respond to emails.
Or they should call the firm. Call Isaac and DeSico.
Yeah.
I think that's the best.
People trying to do stuff on their own, which again we say all the time. You know, it's always been a crapshoot. Immigration has never been your friend, but these days, immigration is not only not your friend. Immigration is like your sworn enemy.
Yep.
So, you know, to try to be handling stuff like this on your own, yeah, you might get through eventually in a year, 2, 5 after Trump is gone. You know, but you know that's why we're here. Half of the cases we get, in fact, probably more so these days.
Right.
More than half the cases we get are from people like this. They try to do the case on their own and couldn't do it. Got screwed up somehow. Ended up in removal proceedings as a result. You know, we see cases like this on a daily basis. You know, it's just, and I understand, you know, money's tight. Money's always tight. It's tighter now than usual. But you know something? I say this all the time. We're like an insurance policy. You know, you might take out a life insurance policy. You never have to use it, or at least not till the end, or auto insurance or whatever it is. But the fact is, it's there to give you peace of mind and to use in case of an emergency. That's what we are, you know, because now is an emergency. You know, these times call for specific situations. You know, emergencies are prevalent these days. Immigration emergencies happen all the time, more so than ever. And we're here. That's why we're here.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that is Conrad Pollack, and we have Andrea Scher. We're about to conclude the show. You sure you don't want to touch on anything else with Biden and Conrad? Because we know how you love that area, you know. You sure before we go? Or you want to say anything about the Orange Man? I'm giving you a minute to say a thing or two, you know.
Well, look, I mean, and Alex already talked about Biden's platform. I mean, his immigration platform is great. You know, I don't know how much of it he'll be able to actually get through. I mean, every one of these presidents that come through for the last, you know, 20, 30 years, as long as I've been doing this, we're going back to Ronald Reagan. They all have grand ideas. The only one who hasn't had grand ideas has been the current president. This is all going to require congressional approval. And, you know, let's see if the Senate and the House if the House stays Democrat and the Senate goes Democrat and Biden wins, you know, a lot could happen. I'm hoping that if that does happen and Democrats take over the government, that they do push for immigration reform finally, because it's necessary. I mean, comprehensive immigration reform is long overdue. You have 10, 11, 20, whatever number of millions of people here that can't legalize it now because of the current president living in fear. You know, they've been terrorizing the immigrant population. It would be a welcome change, you know, to actually welcome these people that are 95% of them are productive members of society, to welcome them into our society instead of terrorizing them. You know, it would be a welcome change, and that's what I'm hoping for. You know, Biden gets in. You know, he's a decent man. Kamala Harris, she's from immigrant stock herself. She seems like a decent person. You know, bringing common sense and decency back to the government in general, but immigration in particular, it'd be a nice thing to see.
Absolutely. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Cruising with a Case Handler, a show on personal injury and immigration. Today was all immigration, and also expanding and expounding on the Biden's plan where immigration is concerned. I urge each and every one, go out and vote Biden. All right, very important. The number is 844-774-3529 for the law firm. Yes, it's an attorney advertisement, and prior results do not guarantee similar outcome. However, they have proven themselves time and time again. So make sure you reach out to them, share their numbers with your family members, your friends, even your foes. You got to help each other in some way, shape, or form, unless he's the Orange Man. The number is 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. It's time to stand up. It's time to, of course, understand that there are attorneys that will fight for your rights. And although you're in this country out of status, this firm, PPID, will fight for you. Call them, get that free phone consultation at 844-PPID-LAW, and then you hire them. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Conrad. I'm looking forward in meeting with you guys again. And Andrea, got to promise me that you'll come back more often. Okay, your face is surely missed here. All right, so make sure the boss man brings you back, all right?
Okay, I promise.
Okay. It's a pleasure. You both have yourself an amazing day.
Thanks.